Well, hey, welcome to the Calvary Chapel Salmon podcast. It's so good that you guys are joining with us today. Today I am joined with Hagen Miller as usual.
Hello.
And then also our special guest today is Mr. Dane Power. Dane, say hi to everyone.
How's it going? Well, like Jordan said, I'm Dane Power, and I'll say a little bit about myself.
That'd be great.
That's
Tell us
okay.
something about
Yeah.
yourself.
So,
Yes.
I mean, I used to live up here in Salmon for roughly 2 years. Before I moved up here, I lived in Boise, Idaho for, I'd say, 8 years or so. And now we have a house back down in Boise, so we just kind of like to move back and forth. And right now I'm just up here visiting, seeing some friends and helping out with the church. So I'm super stoked to be back, and thanks for having me.
Cool beans.
Well, I'm excited to have Dane on our podcast today. He's on my top 10 list of favorite people.
Oh, wow.
And if we
We've heard-
continue on with this, you're going to slowly narrow down
We've
who
heard
is and
about
isn't
this
on the
list
list.
before, Hagen.
thanks, Sam.
Samuel's on the list. Dane's on the list. We'll
Only
see.
8 more to go.
Only 8 more
Yeah.
slots, so yeah.
We'll fight for that first place spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. When we were in the back, me and Josh were setting up the podcast, and Josh said, Jordan, Hagen doesn't have very many friends.
I don't.
They're all just young kids.
That's right.
And I said, hey, yeah, he has good friends. That's what I
Yeah.
said. I defended you, Hagen. Don't worry.
Thank you.
He has
I know.
quality over quantity.
Amen.
My parents have told me, they say, why do you hang out with Hagen? Isn't he like 30?
Please.
And I'm like,
28.
I'm not 28, right? But they think it's kind of weird, but I'm just like, it's not like
Some
that. It's
people,
great
some
to be
people
around you.
do, yeah.
Should we have a podcast about this?
Yeah. Well, no, it's like I don't know. Never mind. I wanted to say something, but again, I shouldn't.
Right.
Wow.
Sometimes just.
Well,
shouldn't be
Hagen,
trapped.
you have been like one of the like most encouraging people in my life. Like even just since I've been up here. Sorry, Jordan, I'm not throwing you out of here.
No,
I'm
that's
just
okay.
saying,
I was
like,
gonna say this is so sweet.
ever
yeah.
since, and we can get to that one point where out in Sun Valley at that camp, that was just like so meaningful and amazing, and I think you are the reason why I'm here right now.
Well, shucks, man.
And that I've came this far, so it's just been great.
Well, my life consists of a lot of people, but there's specific people in my life that I feel like Jesus gives me, and you're one of those people.
Thank you.
And time has proven that, so I'm super glad for all the history we have, and I'm even more
great.
excited for the future that we have. So
No, I'm super excited.
yeah.
And I'm so excited to grow my faith with Christ. And you've been a really big part on that. Same with you, Jordan.
Yeah.
You guys are just
Shucks.
the best.
Well, thank
What's
you.
your favorite Hagen Miller memory, Dane?
I would say Sun Valley. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
There's-
what went down in
Well,
Sun
just a
Valley?
minute, before we get into that, as we kind of start this process of this podcast, something that's cool about Jordan and Dane, they have similar stories in that
Oh wow.
you were both raised as Christians.
Yes.
Right.
So I'm raised in a good moral home, but when I learn about Christianity and the Bible, in like a true Christian sense, it's all new to me. In that moment, as I'm learning, it's a light switch on, like getting radical for Jesus.
Right.
You guys are grown up with it, so you have familiarity, which is both maybe good and bad. So I'm hoping through this podcast, especially for me, I'll be able to learn more about kids raised in Christian homes, and then how that works, and then how this process of happening, making this faith that you've been raised with your own come to pass.
No, that's
So yeah.
That's great, and I can get to that story as I tell like the difference between like really understanding Christianity, but like understanding like being a Christian instead of just knowing it, right?
Yeah.
And growing up, like if we'll just jump straight into this, growing up, like being around it, you just grow up. Like I was saying, you watch the Veggie Tales, you know all the stories, you go to church on Sunday and daycare and all that stuff. So you just grow up around it, and it's just like you don't even think about it, you know, it's just all around you. And so I think you definitely get to a point in age where you truly go from just doing it for your family or for like the friends, from doing that for them to doing it for God. And I think that for me at least, there's definitely a distinct turning point from doing it just for the family or doing it for God, and being more one-on-one with him and building my own relationship with him, other than just not even understanding. You know? So, and if you would like to say, because you grew up as a Christian.
For sure, I saw this one thing from the Babylon Bee, the article, which I love the Babylon Bee, but it's like a meme basically, and it said, a kid starts testimony off, well, I grew up in a Christian home, and it's like boring all over.
Right?
It's like typical. But
Were you a veggie teller, Jordan?
Not.
Wow.
Recently, I've gone back and I've watched some of them, and it's like I don't remember some of them. Like I didn't watch all of them, so I wasn't like big into
Well, you are known for your memory, so.
That's true, yes. But like they're weird. The ones I do remember watching, like I've watched again recently. It's like these are just weird.
It's so far off.
Yeah, it's like what you guys like. It's kind of almost like unnerving on how like just kind of like.
I just threw that out there as like an example.
No, that's like a
growing
Christian
up
thing.
For
around
sure,
it.
yeah. No, and I like VeggieTales, but I grew up with yeah.
So similarly, you guys don't have a memory like we've always been to church. I've always known about
for
God,
sure.
right?
No, I just grew up going to church every single Sunday and having Sunday as like a rest day, you know, and work hard, play hard, just like that, like Christian mentality, like of just, you know, like I just grew up with it, so it's just natural for me. It's not like, oh, it's like weird to go to church every single Sunday. No, it was just like, and as a kid, and my parents would like make me go to church every single Sunday, and I wouldn't want to. I'd just be like doodling on a piece of paper, you know, all of those like registered things on the back of the seats, you know. I'm just drawing pictures on them.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Something else I realized that we have in common is that we're both from big families. We have a lot of siblings.
Yeah.
And actually in the birth order, we're in the same place. We're both
Really?
the third, like you're the third oldest child, right?
Yeah.
So am I.
I'm right in the middle.
And we
I'm
both
the
have one
forgotten
older
one.
boy
you're
and
the
one older
fourth,
girl.
right?
No, I'm the third, or yeah, I am the fourth. I got.
Okay.
Oh wait, who's?
Cora's older than him.
Oh yeah.
I
I
thought
always
you were
think.
trying to say I got 3 older, and then I also
No,
got 3
no,
younger.
no.
I'm
You're
like,
right. You're right. I always think Cora's
Close,
younger than
close.
you. Yeah.
Well-
sorry, Cora, if you're watching.
I'll tell her to watch it. She
Yeah,
gets mad.
I'm sorry. No.
No
Well,
worries.
okay. So I guess we're just both our big families. I got 2 older siblings and 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 younger.
You should probably know that.
4 younger siblings, and it's like, I think, growing up, maybe you can.
What's
relate.
it like being a middle child?
No.
boys?
But
Yeah,
can you relate
being
to the same,
forgotten.
like, growing up, like my siblings were like my main friends growing up. Can you relate to that? Yeah.
Right.
So I think there's a part of that was kind of like sheltering, isolating for me. That probably kept me away from a lot of negative influences.
Definitely.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like,
Was that
Well-
true for you till a season, and then?
yeah.
Mhm.
When
Definitely. Well, I'm not dissing on Salmon. I could just say when I moved here, that's when it kind of just all happened.
Okay.
Of all those negative.
So moving to Salmon, you got mixed up with the wrong crowd. Would that be a good
Absolutely.
statement?
So I think also Salmon High School. I mean, great school, great kids there. You just need to find that right group of kids, and that's the same with everywhere.
Sure.
You know? But I just kind of was like, I didn't really like. I was that new kid, and you know, like just that like mentality of just being like, oh yeah, I'll just be the class clown, so I get accepted and I get liked by those kids, and then that's just like that's what attracted those kids that are like, hey, he's like us, he'll do bad things, and it's funny, and they think I'm cool. So then I was like, all right, well now I'm one of those cool kids, and I'm in that group, and then that all just went downhill from there, and it was all of my fault. Like I should have just from the beginning, if I just truly knew where it would have had led me. From the start, I wouldn't have. Like, I would just, like, I wouldn't even want to go to, I would rather be homeschooled probably than going there. And I can say that, like, when I'm older, like, my kids will be homeschooled.
Really?
Or, like, at least
were you
private
ever
school.
homeschooled at some part in your life, or?
I tried it.
Yeah.
No, that didn't work.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that, like, I need to learn from, like, physical. Like, it was trying to, like, do online and, like, pages and all that stuff, but I didn't learn anything. You know, I was just, like, and that's also having that drive to like that dedication to do it, to bring yourself to do it, but I was just like, hey, well, I mean, I don't really have to do it, so it's just not having that like dedication. I mean, when you have people like face to face, they're teaching you, and that's just one way I learned so much better, you know. And that could also lead to being at like my school, watching you online is hard to being in person. It's just so much better. It's great. So, and we can get to there, but
for sure.
Yeah, I think the main difference between me and you, Dane, growing up, because there's a lot of similarities. Although there's many. I think you were, at some point, you were the cool kid, and I was just
Shut
never
up,
the cool
Jordan.
kid, dude. I was just never, I never really even had desire to be the cool kid. Like, I was always just kind of doing my own thing and oblivion.
What kind of kid were you?
Oh, I was the weird, well, I still am.
The Lego kid,
I did like Legos
The
for a
chess
long
the
time.
Pokemon kid.
I kind of grew out. I grew out of those when I got into high school, but
Out
still,
of Legos?
Legos and chess and all those. I still kind of played chess, but
Just
it
a
wasn't like
little.
my main. Actually, maybe it was my main thing. Yeah.
We know you. For
I
your
did
chess.
drama. I think that was part of it. Like just kind of these weird.
right.
Shocker.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Just kind of charismatic, whatever. So I think those are just like just listening to this is like, yeah,
I'm sure you were the kid he would make fun of.
for sure. Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. No,
But
I would
now
be-
look,
I
we're
would
all
be-
here together
Now
as
look,
friends.
now
I'll be
we're
your
all
school
best
Because we
boy.
have Jesus in common.
There you
Right.
go. So you went to high school. You were the cool kid.
It was
got
more
Middle
when
school.
it was
middle
I think
school.
when I moved from Boise to Salmon, it was kind of like in between the school year, and so I was just like pulled out of school, and I was just like, hey, no school, sweet, I don't have to do it. So I was happy. I was like content where I was at, but when I got here, I was doing online, but then my mom, she was like, maybe you could try out the school, and this was 6th grade, and so I would go in for only math class. I would just go in person for one class and do that because math, either online or like having my mom try to teach me, wasn't really that great because again I don't really learn just like from pages, right? So I'll go to math just one class a day, and then I would ask my mom, I was like, hey, what if I like, they call it shadowing, where you just like don't do any of the classes, but like one day you just like go through all the classes and just see how it's like. And then I was like, hey mom, can I just stay the rest of the day and see how it is? And because I wanted to goof around with all my friends, and then so that led to, she was like, hey, maybe next year you can go like full time. Or I think by the end of the year I was going full time, but then like next year it was just like I was just fully in it. Like there's no homeschool. I was just like fully engaged with Salmon High School. And
Happily engaged.
And he's saying high school because our upper middle school
yeah,
is
well,
in
that's
with the
what I
high
mean.
school. Just
Yeah,
to be
it's like
clear
a-
for the listeners.
right.
For the out of Salmon listeners. Yes.
But I mean, I think that looking back on it, I can say that I'm happy I went, but I'm also not at all.
Yeah.
Like it's a love-hate relationship because there's a lot of stuff that I learned that I shouldn't even learn, like shouldn't even know right now. You know, I should like that should be stuff that you should learn later in life, and just like all that stuff that I was just around was negative, and it was nothing good for me at all. And it was also my fault too because I was in the wrong friend group, and so it was all my fault. But just to like, I'm trying to think, you know, it's like I'm happy that I can see now that I went through all of those things, and I can see the difference from me then and now, and look back on myself and be like, you were stupid. I don't know why you did that, but like,
No, Dane.
but now I know though, like now I know the differences, and like I can like just like compare it, and how much I look back on myself and how much I like shame myself for doing that, or how much guilt I have.
Yeah.
You know, and but also it was not a good thing at all because that also led to like just going back. And at this point, growing up in a Christian family, like I was never like actually religious. I would go to church either for the fun of it or I was forced to go. And I would just go. I had no clue what it meant to like truly love Christ, and I would go for my parents, and I respected the fact, and I was like, yeah, no, that's cool. I'll go to church, but I wouldn't say that. It's like I wouldn't throw it back in their face and be like, I don't want anything to do with your God or anything, you know. It's just like I would go to church, and I would either enjoy it or just be forced to go, and I was fine with that. But and then just like before, where at Sun Valley, I didn't want really anything to do with like having my own, like with Christianity.
Is it real quick? Is it God's not real, or is it just that I don't know, or like,
I just kind of felt like it's not for me, and I don't want to put
Okay.
that effort in, and I don't want to be like, oh, I have to follow these rules, and why can't I just live my own life and have fun?
Okay, sure.
and this leads to at the beginning of the podcast where you were saying, what is my favorite moment with Hagen? And this was, so it was it was just a church camp, wasn't it?
Yeah, the youth retreat we did were you there? Yeah.
No.
You won the Abide sign?
It was in Sun
When we did it
Valley.
with
when there was
you.
snow,
Yeah. That retreat is what
the
he's
one
talking about.
in the it's like winter.
In the
or
winter.
whatever.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
winter retreat.
That place is amazing. I went when I was like a kid with I think it was a Calvary Chapel down here actually, in Boise is what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
But so we were there and it was just one night and I just went for the fun of it. I was there to mess around. I had no my mind was not even set on trying to learn more. I was just there for the fun of it, right?
Sure.
And I'm sure a lot of kids were too. So it was just like
Could you
sweet,
give us their names?
No. And most of the kids I didn't even know.
We
though.
know.
No, it was
Right.
from
Yeah.
other churches
Sure.
but so one night we were all in the sanctuaries right, and we were all just worshiping and it was just music and all of the pastors were up there to pray as well as you, Hagen, and if you needed prayer. But I also felt I really felt like I needed prayer, but I didn't know what to ask for. It was just a weird feeling because I was I don't want to even get too far into this because I was I don't want to act like I'm Christian if I'm truly just don't care, you know? So, but I felt I wanted prayer, but I was too scared for my image to go up for prayer. And I was that's cool and all, but I was just no, it's fine. I just won't do it. But then out of nowhere, Hagen decides to walk all the way to the back to where I was standing, and he came straight to me and he said that God told him to pray for me. And I was wow, that is gnarly. And when he started praying for me, it felt and this was the most unreal feeling ever. And this is what keeps me going. And that's it felt like a bucket of hot water was just dumped on my head. And it just felt the relieving, joyful, emotional, free, feeling. That burden was just lifted off of my back. And it was just amazing when you were praying for me. And I think that it was truly just God speaking because I was too scared to go up on my own, and then you decided to come back to me. So he sent you because I was too scared. It was just the best, and that's the moment that I look back on the most with you and me.
Wow.
And so where was I going with this? That was a true feeling of knowing Christianity to coming to being a Christian. I was wow, that was a really, really cool feeling, and I want more of that. And it just ever since then, it was just been a drive kind of. And I would also fall off, and it hasn't been just a straight shot. It's just not straight from there. It's oh, now I'm a perfect person working up. It's healing takes time.
Yeah.
And that's so real because it was a rabbit trail from there. I'd be on the straight and narrow path, but then I'd be off, it'd just be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And ever since then, that's just that drive, that mentality of just thinking that's what I want. I want that feeling.
That gave you an experience or encounter with God that you've never
almost
had
just
before,
sparked
or-
something just inside of me. I was just wow, that was unreal. But that's what I want. It just felt so perfect. It just felt just amazing, and that's what I want, So ever since then, that's also transitioning from growing up in a Christian household. And I think that definitely that there is kids that'll grow up as a Christian, in a Christian family and stuff, and just almost just hop right into it, and they're just fine, and it just keeps going and growing and growing.
Yeah.
But then also I think there's lots of struggle of growing up in a Christian family, but then also that turning point of realizing that you want to be a Christian other than just being in a Christian family. You want to be, you want to have your own personal, intimate relationship with the Lord instead of doing it for your family, doing it for God. Not just you, but doing it for God instead of doing it for your family or yourself or anything. And that's just I think that there's a very distinct turning point is what I'm trying to say. And ever since then, it's just, and I don't think that was truly my turning point. I think that was just what sparked it.
Sure.
And that'll lead to, it's a long story, how I go to school. Am I okay to bring that up?
We got hours. So
All right,
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
good.
time limit.
I want to say
add
really,
into this.
for sure. Yeah. Thank you. I will.
Jordan, feel free to speak
Yeah,
I
permission to
think I
speak
will,
on your
yes.
podcast.
Permitted
Yes.
to speak.
I just want to say I think it's super cool. Just Hagen, you're just in a normal worship session. You're just praising God, and Hagen, for some reason, feels led to come up to you and pray for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really special, cool thing. But almost in my mind, like, it doesn't have to be that unique.
No.
'Cause we do worship, like, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights. We do worship all the time. And just to remind myself and then to remind everyone listening, like, at any time during worship, you can just say, maybe I should go and pray for this person. And just ask them, hey, can I pray for you? And that's something super, super cool. And something that kind of I experienced a lot in my church back in Philadelphia, but also in CBI and Bible college. That's just a really, really awesome thing. It's like, hey, we're going to have this time of worship. And if you feel led, just go and pray for someone. And it's super, super cool. And it's something that we just,
and
like,
it's powerful.
It's powerful.
It's very powerful.
And it's something we don't do too much, but it's just like, it's just freely available. And it doesn't have to be like this once in a lifetime thing where someone came and prayed for me. It can be like,
it was also the fact that it was just that I was thinking in my head to myself as like the people who are around laughing, giggling, having fun. So was I. I was that kid. Like I was not participating, right? But then also when I just started thinking, I was like, I really do want prayer, but I'm too scared. And then the fact that not only just anybody, but Hagen, and he walked to the back. He could have walked to anybody to pray for them, but he walked specifically to me. And I was in the back because I was just like, I don't want to be right in the front if I'm just going to mess around, right? And he just walked specifically to me. And I think that's just what I was like, that's just so meaningful. And that was just so powerful. And I think that was just the spark of it. You know?
For sure. No, that's awesome. Did you say that I remember you conveying this to me at some point, Hagen, that you felt like God had put Dane on your heart in that moment or whatever? Or
Right, for sure. I mean, I would call that, the Lord gave me a word of knowledge for Dane in that moment to, like, it's like we're just there, and it's like I'm just praying, like, because you're just, like, waiting for people to come up for prayer or something, and I'm just praying, okay, Jesus, use me. Is there anything, like, how do you want to use me as I'm just waiting? And then it's just like, the Lord just puts you on my heart, and then I just like, okay, cool, step out in faith, do it. And then I couldn't even tell you what I prayed, and just like praying and trusting the Lord. But yeah, that's what I think a word of knowledge is. Like, God gave me supernatural, probably not even,
like directions.
Yeah,
almost, like.
Word of knowledge or word of wisdom, to just like engage with this person on this level in this moment. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, that's a cool thing to be praying for as we do worship sessions. Like, God, use me. I don't want this just to be about me or whatever. I want.
And I should probably talk more about this publicly, but like, there's a lot of times when I'm involved a lot in ministry, but when I'm not the guy involved and I'm just the guy there, like, I'm generally just like praying. So, like, even like when we're in Mexico, like, I'm not the one maybe talking, but I'm just standing in the back, and now I'm just praying for Samuel, that the Lord would give him the words for this person. We're at Highlander yesterday, and Samuel and Chase go to talk to someone. I'm just sitting back at the table, and I'm just on guard, if you will, spiritually speaking, and praying. And just like, if you're not directly involved, you still get to be involved. And you do that, you kind of learn to do that a lot of places, to where like I go and I visit a church and I'm just worshiping. I don't need to teach, but it's like, okay, Jesus, you have me here for a reason. Do you want me to talk to someone? Do you want me to whatever? And just that openness and communicating with the Lord, like, whatever you got for me, like, I'm game. Like, it's crazy the places you end up and the people you end up engaging with. Yeah.
Put your faith in him and he'll show you the way,
Yeah.
You just have to trust him, And that's also like, if I were to bring up my school, I go to, it's a long story short. When I say this out in the West, it's not a popular thing. It's a boarding, like, prep school. When I say that, people are like, oh, so you're a bad kid, Your parents sent you away to a boarding school.
Your parents sent you to Hogwarts.
Right. Right, like to boot camp or something, like a military school. But it's the complete opposite. I hate saying this because I hate sounding like that little prep kid. But it's more of like a privilege than a punishment to be at that school. And I'm super grateful that my parents sent me there. It's a big sacrifice, financial wise, and my dad did go there I have family out there, so he was a day student. He would go home he used it as like a day school. But I board on the school, so it's just like college, but for high school. We got our own campus, our own dorms, and everything. It's wonderful, and it's supposed to prepare you for life in college. And it's a suit and tie every single day, so it's not as strict as I thought it would be, but it's very good, like morals. Like it also teaches you how to live on your own, do your own laundry, not feed off your parents, make your bed every day. You can either take advantage of it or you
I've
can
noticed
really
at my
throw it
house
away.
you've been making your bed.
Well,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yes.
No, I try to.
Has
every
the other
day.
guy at your house making
I
his
don't
bed?
check in his room, but I have to walk through his room to get to my bathroom right now, so
Oh,
that's how I
okay.
know. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks for noticing. But so being out there, I went for my freshman year last year. I'm going back late August for my sophomore year, but it's a struggle religious-wise because it's not a big school. It's roughly 200 kids or so, and it's a struggle because there's not really a lot of those kids out there that have that drive and have that fire for the Lord. And there might be some Catholics or Mormons or other religions that that do their thing too, but like I've never really connected with anybody strongly enough to be like we're on the same page, and we have that same drive. And so being out there, because community is the strongest thing ever. I've really realized that being around the people that bring that energy, the friend group that, like, ever since I've been back, my brother got me involved with this Christian friend group, and it's been the best, having these certain friends that just give me the best advice ever and the most, like, positive energy, and it's so encouraging to just keep that drive going. And but I describe this as, like, I was talking to you about it, like, as like a Bluetooth, like a speaker connected to a phone. When I'm around that phone, like, saying that phone is the friend group and I'm the speaker. When I'm around that, I'm connected with the Lord, and I feel like I have that drive and that connection, and that I feel like I have a relationship with the Lord. But when I go far enough apart, it'll disconnect. It won't go that far, and I feel like it's just all white. It's almost like a pause and play button. It's not like every time I'm around that friend group again, I have to build it back up. It's just like I'm back where I'm at, but it's just right as I leave and I'm by myself and I have really nobody to talk to, not to talk to necessarily, but be around. That connection is just lost. And I feel like I just don't have that, like, drive, and I don't have that spark. It's like the fire would just pit out, And being at that school is the hardest part about it, because, I mean, you're not really able to go to church on Sundays. I have grandparents out there, and I can go to church on Sundays with them, but if I were to have no family out there, I weren't to be able to go to church on Sundays, and I would, like, just being by myself, and especially the kids around me, like, it's not good energy from them. It's nothing positive. They just try to throw me back down the wrong road. And so being out there alone, I feel like I had from experience for my first year, I feel like I had no connection and no drive. Like, that fire was put out, and I feel like I really, really wanted that connection, though. I wanted it so bad, but I didn't know how to get it. I feel like it's something I can't get until I'm around those people again. And that's the hardest part about being out there, because I just feel like it's so hard. I want to have it so bad, but it's just like not there, and I can't get that back until I'm around these certain people, or not certain, like, people, just like the community. And also I use it, like, community, so, like, it's so special, like, and that's why God also sent the disciples out in pairs of two, because just community is so much better than even being one-on-one with a person. I mean, it's still, like, connecting, but, like, if you just have that friend group where all these people, even being at church, is just so overwhelming with joy, and it's just the best feeling ever. And I'm at a point where, when, like, ever since that, like, day at camp, that was, like, I want to say the spark of it, even though I was still, like, do I really want to, like, actually live my life for Christ, or do I just, like, or I could just live my life, It's just, like, a bunch of those thoughts, not really still taking it serious. And then when I went to school, still like that. It was just, like, 50-50, I would just, like, not care at all, or else I would try to care. And then next day I would just be doing the same stuff, like swearing and just not good stuff at all. But ever since I got home, I think that, and I wrote this date down because I think this is like really something I want to remember. Because the day I got back from Kiski for the summer, I want to say that's my turning point. Because even that night, my brother, me, and a friend went up to the mountains to watch a sunset. And it was just so like, this is home. This is where I want to be, around these people and around the energy. This is what I want. And ever since then, being back, it's just been wonderful. Like, just growing and growing and growing. And I want to learn more. I have so much drive. And even like getting a Bible, like I really didn't have a Bible. Like I had like maybe one that my parents gifted me when I was younger, but like it's just like I don't even know where it's at right now, you know. And I just, so I like have a Bible, and thank you. You gifted me. Hagen gifted me with a Bible from the church, and I couldn't be more glad. And I will fill this thing out until there's no more room in it.
Amen.
So I am so stoked. I got a notebook. I'm ready. I'm set, and I'm just ready to learn. And I'm so excited to learn.
Yeah.
And I went from like being forced to go to church, or like just like going to church to either mess around or do that, to like or not wanting to go to church, and it's just like, oh, fine, I'll go to church, right? To this past Sunday, going to church, staying for both services, acknowledging what he said, and then listening to him again, and really, really applying that to my life and taking notes and all that stuff. And it's just so amazing, and I'm just so eager to learn more, and I just couldn't be more happy where I am at right now. But also, I'm still at the point that when, like, I like, again, the phone and the speaker, I would say, like, right now where I'm at, if I were to go to work and not see any of my friends, no community, not be able to go to church, just lost. I feel like I'd be back to, like, not to where I was before, but I would just not have that drive anymore. And I would, like, just, like, kind of start to, like, not fall off, but just I want that drive, and I just, like, don't have that encouragement to read my Bible. And I feel like when I'm not around those people, reading my Bible or reading the Word, I feel like it's reading a book, you know? I just don't get anything from it. I don't have any actual connection to it, but I want to, is the thing. And also praying when I'm out on my own. I feel like I'm just honestly praying to a wall. Like, nobody's hearing me, and it's just like, that was a complete waste of my time. But then when I'm around those people, when I'm connected, when I read the Bible, it's just so good. When I pray, it's just so powerful. And that's, like, I just am at a point where I need to learn how to take that with me. Not build it up on my own when I'm, like, let's say I go back to school, and not lose it and then build it back up. I want to be able to
continue
be with those people, and then let's say we're all lights, right? I want to be my own light when I leave. I want to be that own light in the darkness. I don't want to be that group of lights, or just like back into the darkness when I'm not at that light. I want to be my own light in the darkness. And I want to be able to have that drive when I'm on my own. Like when I go back to school, I want to be able to have that on my own, and be able to have that drive to read my Bible, to pray, to learn more about the Lord, and build my like faith in Christ, and build my relationship with the Lord on my own. I want to be able to do that, and I'm not there yet. And it's also part of healing too. Healing takes time. And I mean, I got time, so I think that, like, it's just my relationship with the Lord is the most important thing I could ever think of right now. It's like like the whole meaning of my life right now is my relationship with the Lord. Then comes family and everything else. But I'm just saying, like, that's my main focus right now. I couldn't think of anything more than wanting to, like, have my own relationship with the Lord. And I don't know if you guys have anything to add on to that. But
one, three things maybe. One, the good news is that what you want right now is exactly what Jesus wants for you, and that's great. Because when you want what he wants, and those two things come together, like, it's beautiful. And no doubt he's going to give you that. Like, you will grow in him, and you will get that desire and that passion, and learn how to read the Bible to where it's speaking to you, and being that light separately as well as collectively. Right. And then, like, I just know that from even though you've moved away, like, we've stayed in touch pretty good. Absolutely. Like when you were at school, we'd probably FaceTime at least 3 times a week.
At least.
And then even just since you've been back in just Boise, we talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And just from you getting back from Kiski to being in Boise, like I could tell pretty quickly, like things have changed in your life.
Absolutely.
And then even just when we were driving down to Mexico, you called me. I remember where I was at. I was in Utah on the interstate, and you're just talking, and you're talking about like faith and Jesus, and you're just saying things like, this is just so real. And, and it's like, and I'm just realizing like, oh my goodness, like something is going on with Dane right now that is so awesome.
I feel like my eyes were open, but I couldn't see. I was blind before. I want to say even when that spark happened at that camp, I still felt like I was just blind through all that.
Yeah.
And I truly didn't understand, except for, what was that, May 24th, when I got back. I feel like literally just my eyes were just open that night. And it's just like now I can like clearly see, like from going straight blind to just pure, like just joy. Like I just like could see, and I was like, holy crap, like get yourself together, dude. Like you don't know what God has planned for you. You could die tomorrow. Like get yourself in line. So I was just like, that's just like the most important thing right now. And I just need to focus on the Lord, and that's it. I just need to build my relationship with him, and that's all I want. And I just want and being around you guys, there's nothing but good energy. And you being a pastor, being able to live with you, well, thank you for hosting me too. It's been amazing. But like, you have the answers that I want too. So you may not have all the answers, right? But I'm just saying, like, you are like, you know so much more than I do. So I look up to you, and I can feed off of you, and you can help me out. Same with you guys. Everybody, just even not even asking those questions, just being around you, it helps me. It helps me build. But like you're also saying, I need to balance the time with community and one-on-one with the Lord. Yeah. If I want to be able to have that relationship on my own, I need to be able to have that drive when I'm by myself. So if I can build up with the community and then build my relationship with the Lord, it's almost like I'm on 2 different levels. I'm higher up with the community, but I'm lower down on my one-on-one. I need to build both of them up and equalize that time, being one-on-one with community, and maybe having a Bible study with friends, and then also having a Bible study without friends and just by myself to see what I need to work on and what the difference is and what I need help to be able to be on my own and have that drive and have that encouragement. So
I think something big that you're touching on, and especially I like your Bluetooth analogy. I think that's
that
clever.
just came to my head. I don't know why. I just thought that was just like something that
for sure. But I think it kind of touches on the fact that we as humans, we adapt wherever we go. I think we like to pretend like we don't do this so much, but we do it a lot. Like we're different depending on what group of people we're around.
Absolutely.
And we'll change to fit in, we'll change to survive or whatever. We'll change to just kind of be more comfortable.
If you throw it as an example, I mean, like, everybody adapts to everybody. Like,
for sure.
Look at back in the 80s, the style to now today. Like, you're wearing Vans, I'm wearing Vans. I don't know what he's wearing. Flip-flops.
Quicksilver.
And some people go against the
just
current.
Like, right? It's just like the style maybe, or just like everybody just adapts to. Like, we feed off of each other.
We do.
So
and so that's so true. Like, you go to Kiski and you leave your brother in that good group, and you're around all these people like you just finished saying. Like, you're going to the pole's naturally going to be towards these negative things. I think it's important when you do go back, for sure, what Hagen and you had just said about having that like personal relationship. So it's not, you're not relying upon other people because you don't.
I don't want to have to rely on the people.
And at the same time, like, what kind of relationship with God is it if you just have it when you're around other Christians and you don't?
Because it's not like really a truly one-on-one.
For sure. That's just me being a chameleon and going from a different color. It's like, it's just I'm just changing. So having your own personal relationship, that's huge. But then I also think going back to Kiski with a mindset, a goal, like I am on a mission to reach these people at Kiski. I think that's super, super big because it's no longer these are just my friends and I'm going to go hang out with them and have fun with them. It's, yeah, they're my friends, but I want them to have what I have now.
Right.
And that's like a big thing, and it's a big mindset change. Because like Jesus, he would go and hang out with the tax collectors and sinners.
Right.
But Jesus wasn't like, well, I'm just going to go hang out with them and just have fun and whatever. That wasn't his goal. His goal was to seek and to save the lost. His goal was like, I'm going to befriend these people. I'm going to love these people. I'm going to have fun with these people, yes. But it's all with the goal of I want to reach these people and love them. And so I think as you go back to Kiski and you think about your friend group, don't have the mindset of, well, I'm just not going to talk to them, or I'm just going to cut them off because, or I'm just going to be the same as always. No, you want to have that mindset of, I want to reach them, I want to love them. And I think that will be a big help going back there and not just going back into your old ways. If you have like that mission mindset, like I'm going to reach these people, and it's like a goal and it's like a challenge to yourself, like I want to.
Well, the thing is, when I don't have that connection, like if I were to go like evangelize to my friends out at Kiski last year, when I feel like I don't have that connection, it's just I almost feel like a hypocrite because I'm like shaming you for what you do. You should come to Christ when I'm that same person, and it's just like I'm trying to get you to come to Christ when I don't have him myself. So like, what is the point? I think that right now, and it kind of sounds selfish, I need to get there though. I need to focus on myself and get there first before I can be able to do it and spread it. I mean, I can definitely spread it. I mean, like, even just like saying God bless you, that could mean so much to somebody. But it's just like, when I truly want to evangelize, I feel like I really want to get that first. And like you're saying, not like just cutting your friends out of your life and saying that. I think that right now it's like, and I'm sorry, Dad, for not listening to you, but you said the people who you hang out with is who you become. And I cannot really say that more now. Like, I can't just bring that up more now. It was so true. And all of these friends, even coming up here, I had to tell some people that I wouldn't hang out with them because I don't want to be around those people anymore.
And if those people are listening right now, you suck.
Come to church.
Come to church.
Right. But I even told them, I said, like, great friends, like, I love you guys, but I can't hang out with you guys right now. At least right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I can try to hang out with them when I'm stronger myself, when I have defeated those temptations. Because I'm still on that verge to where, like, I don't even want to be around it because that'll just, like, it's just Satan trying to bring me back down that road. So I really just want to cut that out and really focus on my own relationship, and because it's the most important thing to me right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I know even if they're just like, yeah, we'll just go hang out. It's like, well, even just being around you, there's always those temptations, and I know you well enough to where you're just gonna try to just gaslight me, blackmail me, just be like. They try to single you out, and being a Christian, you definitely get singled out, and there's nothing you can do about that. And you just need to focus on that it's not all about you. It's not what you look like. It's not what your actions are. It's about God, truly. Like, you need to focus less on yourself and more on him, and fill yourself with him more than focusing about, like, caring about what you look like, caring about your image, caring about standing up for something that's wrong, that what you believe in. And that's also what I told my friends. I said, I don't care what you think about me. You could call me all those names and stuff.
Call me a Jesus freak.
Right?
A Bible thumper.
But the thing is, I truly could care less right now, because I don't care what you think of me, because my focus is on the Lord, and nothing's going to stop that. And there's nothing that'll bring me back to doing all those sins. And I still sin. Everybody sins, especially this guy. He's not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm still a work in progress.
Count of three, what was the last sin you did? One,
I'm
two.
not saying that. Nope. Maybe off the podcast.
What's the last sin?
Jordan's got a thing.
Don't think
hard.
about it too serious. Right. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just a work in progress. So is everybody. Like, it's just a drive. Healing takes time. I really can't emphasize that, like, enough. Like, it's going to take time. You have to accept the fact that you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to take time to fully get there. I can't just, like, wake up tomorrow and be like, sweet, let's go evangelize. I could be a pastor right now. Like, I need to work my way up and get that. I need to read the Bible, you know? That's one thing. I need to like actually read the Bible, not just read it, but acknowledge it and apply it to my life. And like even my brother and me, we're going to start doing daily Bible studies. We're going to go through a chapter a day.
Yeah.
We'll read it some time throughout the day, and then we'll meet together at night and talk about it, even with friends. That whole friend group is just the best. Shout out, you guys. You guys know who you are. So if you guys watch this, I'm looking forward to come back.
If you're watching right now, you suck.
Hey,
You're the best.
But it's just, I just need to take the time, and I need to take it not slow, but I just need to really acknowledge it. And I want to, like, I truly want to learn, like, even though I grew up in a Christian household, I was baptized so young, don't even know what it means.
Were you
know,
an
it's
infant
just
when
like,
you were baptized?
well, I don't even know how old I was. I was like 7. My
Okay,
mom
it's
can
not
correct
an
me.
infant,
I don't know,
yeah.
maybe younger, I think.
Sprinkled or dumped?
Dumped,
I think I was
yeah.
dumped. I was in the river.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah.
cool.
I mean, like, I still didn't understand at all. And I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
even if you're that old, you truly understand yet. But that's also a fact on, like, that's also a part of growing up in a Christian household. You just do that stuff and it's normal is the thing. Like, for unbelievers, like, you're like kind of skeptical. You're like, you know, it's not normal. It's really not. Like,
Sure.
if you really look at Christianity from like an unbeliever, like an atheist perspective, it's like, looks like a cult. Like, I've really thought about this. It's like everybody worships and praises and tries to be like this one perfect guy that never made a mistake. And that's like, and they will devote their life to it. And it's like, if you really look at it, you're like, do I want to be Christian?
And then we dip people in water. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know.
what is
Yeah,
this?
right?
And we drink blood
Yeah.
and eat flesh.
But
But not really. It's just a metaphor.
That's right.
But like, I'm at a point to where I grew up knowing all that stuff. I grew up knowing all the Bibles and the story and knowing the books of the Bible and stuff. But after that turning point, May 24th, I want to fully restart as if I want people to teach me as if I were an unbeliever. I want to start in the best book of the Bible. Maybe like, for example, like start in Genesis from the beginning. But I mean, that's not the best book to start in as an unbeliever. And also, I really want to get rebaptized sooner or
Cool.
later. I know you guys are doing it actually, but
yeah.
I think that I might wait just a little bit longer, and but I think I will definitely get rebaptized because
Yeah.
I was so young. I don't even know, and that's when you get baptized. Correct me, like you can probably say more on it. That's when you want to devote your life to Christ. You know?
Sure.
That's when
Yeah.
you want to become.
And baptism, it's not always this. I don't want to
Right.
give like false impressions, but baptism is like, it's a physical thing, but there is like super cool spiritual stuff that can happen when you're
absolutely.
baptized. And you saying in front of other people, I want to live my life for Christ, and you do this picture of dying to yourself and you're raised to new life. Like, it doesn't have to be like the spiritual moment where everything changes, but it can be in really cool ways. And so I think that's really awesome.
Absolutely.
That you want to get baptized again. And like, I think that can do really cool, just like with Hagen praying with you, that can be a really cool, like,
and that's
spiritual
like
spark.
where I want to be taught how to read the Bible.
Yeah.
I want to be taught how to pray, and I want to be taught like how to spread the word and stuff, like, because like when I would read the Bible, again, I would just read a book. When I would just pray to nobody, you know. Even if you feel like you are praying to nobody, God still hears you, though. That's what matters, you know.
Yeah.
Even if I don't have that drive, I'm going to just start praying and praying. Even if I feel like nobody hears me, he hears me, and that's what he wants, though. But I want to be able to learn how to pray and connect with the Lord. I want to be able to how to read and connect with the Bible, you know, and apply it to my daily life. That's what I want.
And I forget how, since he's been here and I've been talking to him more, like a little bit maybe how like overwhelming or intimidating the Bible can be to someone, because, and it's like, this is maybe sad for me, but it's like, it's hard to even get someone like on the right track, because imagine just reading like John's gospel though, and you read about John, and then you read about John the Baptist, But the only thing you know about John the Baptist is what you're getting out of John's gospel right now. When I read about John the Baptist, because I've studied it, I think about Luke, I think about Matthew, and I get the big picture. But you have someone who's just learning the whole thing new. They start in Joshua. It's like, who's Joshua? What's the whole deal? And it's like, if you don't really understand that whole overarching picture, I get why this can be confusing. And I take for granted the bricks that have been laid in my foundation to where I'm at now of understanding the big picture that makes this now super simple to understand. But the good news is, even if you don't fully understand what Josh was up to, or you don't quite understand how John the Baptist comes onto the scene, this is still God's living word that speaks to us. The Holy Spirit doesn't need our intellect to understand the storyline in order to speak the truth of God into our hearts.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, and I think something that's super cool, and I need to remind myself that how blessed I am. Like, we're so lucky to be living at the time that we are, because we have so many fantastic resources as far as sermons and people who will take you through the whole Bible. Chuck Missler does like this YouTube video, and he goes through all the Bible, like, and he said like the Bible, learn the Bible in 24 hours. It's just like big picture.
He listens to Chuck Smith sometimes.
Chuck Smith is really awesome to listen
on
to.
the app on my phone, Blue Letter Bible, if you click on any passage, you can pick different audios. And Chuck Smith read the whole entire Bible, word for word, recorded. So you could listen to it and read it, and that helps me a lot. When I have to read books for school, I'll find an audio book, listen to it, because I can also think and acknowledge it while he's reading it for me. But I'm also like reading it but listening too, as like like at the same time. So
and then also there's podcasts. There's
absolutely.
I think this is a great one, but there's lots of other podcasts.
I think this is the best.
But there's lots of other podcasts that I just like casually listen to that. Like, I just learn stuff from them all the time, and I learn to think things about them all the time. And it's just like, this is so cool that I have this free, like, it doesn't cost me a thing. I just go on my phone and I tap this, and I get all this great information whenever I want. And so I think going back to Kiski, even though information isn't the same as community, like, just being dedicated to say, like, I'm going to listen to these, like, one sermon a day or one sermon a week or one podcast. I think just having that spiritual commitment to do that, kind of like if you want to say I want to work out every day or once a day, like to have that be there, like this, I'm going to have the drive to do that. I think that could be super, super helpful.
Well, like you were saying, like I learned so much more from listening to podcasts with people, like talking and like communicating, like just like we're doing. I connect so much better to doing that, because again, if I were to listen to Adrian Rogers or Chuck Smith without even looking at the Bible or anything, I just feel like I'm not there yet. I just don't connect, because like it's almost like just reading the Bible. I truly couldn't connect to it. I just felt like I'm reading a book. Like when I'm listening to that, I'm like, what is he talking about? I'm so lost. I'm so confused, and I'll get there eventually. But
yeah, you definitely need to explore, I think, and find the pastors or the teachers that connect the best with how you think. 'Cause there's a lot of them out there. I think just being willing to like, I'm going to listen to this guy and getting recommendations from different people. Something I kind of want to say, you touched on feeling like going back to Kiski last year and sharing the gospel or sharing with your friends. You feel like, oh man, like who am I? And I kind of get that, because like, who are you and who am I at the same time? But I think something important to remember is like, you just want to share what you know. You know, like I don't know all the Bible. You don't know all the Bible, but you do know some things. You do know what God's showing you now, and you can just share that. And whether that's like the gospel presentation or it's just something cool that God's doing in your life, both of those are valuable, and you can just share. And at least for me, the thing that kind of helps me, I learn the most about the Bible when I know I have to share it. Like when I have to share the Bible, that's when I'm like, oh shoot, I need to learn this and actually understand this. And like that's how I learn. You need
to be able to back up what you're speaking about.
Hagen uses this, and I use it a lot because I love it. You don't want to be a constipated Christian. So some Christians are always taking in things and are never letting anything out. You want to have a good flow. You want to take in God's word, but then also share it. And whether that's just sharing with a friend or your brother or just someone just saying, hey, God showed me this and I really liked it. I think that's like, that helps you learn, it helps you remember, it helps you apply, and just the fact of sharing. And so you go to Kiski, you have these friends, it's just like, well, even though it's random and maybe a little awkward, just say, hey,
Right.
God showed me this cool thing, and I just felt led to tell you.
Right, and this is also gonna play a big part of. I'm gonna have to not care about my image. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna and they know me as
Which, going back to being the cool kid,
right.
that's way easier for. So I realized
For a
that
guy like you.
not caring about how other people look at you
Right.
is something I realized that I'm super blessed to not care that much about. For other people, I realize it's way harder.
It is. No.
Yeah,
like
and then I
your
think
image,
there's a good, healthy balance of you should care a little bit of what people think.
No, yeah, definitely.
yeah.
It's not like
You don't want to be
I
the
mean,
crazy person, yeah.
right, but I think that because of right now, for the people that I haven't truly told, they know me as Dane, right? They know me as the self I don't want them to know me as. So I'm going to have to change that image, and I really, really wish that when I went to Kiski, I restarted. I wish I was known as the weird kid. I was known as a kid that doesn't care about his image. I was known as the Christian boy, right? And I've gotten a lot of hate already, even they'll just be like, oh, you little Christian boy, are you going to stay virgin until you're married? It's like, well, that's just what I grew up
Yeah.
as. It's like,
That's what you tell them.
it's like, heck yeah, I am. But
And my marriage will statistically last way longer than yours.
my divorce rate will be way lower than yours.
Yes. That's what you tell them.
That's true.
But
Yes.
but
And married people have the best sex life statistically.
Amen.
but just being singled out, it's going
Yeah.
to happen, and you're just gonna have to accept that fact that you will be the weird kid, and that's okay though. And I'm looking forward to being that weird kid. So I'm looking forward to changing my image.
Two things real quick. I see you're getting ready to say something.
No,
but I
no,
wanna
you
jump
say
in.
something. Yeah.
And you mentioned this about when he goes back, seen as like a mission. And I was telling him the other night, when you go back, realizing these people are no longer my people.
Right.
Like my people is this community. My people are my friends are these people over here, and I get to go and live with these people for a school year. But these are not who I am identifying with anymore.
No.
I'm other than them, and that's that whole imagery that Paul gives about how he's like an ambassador of Christ. Like I'm living in a world of people that are not my people, and I'm here just representing Jesus. And we all do that on some level, but this is a great example in Dane's life of going back to a culture where he is now other than that culture, and I get to be amongst it, but I'm not of that anymore. And I can't fall into this trap of identifying with you anymore because Jesus has made me different.
Yeah. And
The other thing,
Oh, sorry.
sorry,
No,
is
no.
that the importance of community and this thing that you're talking about, that's why church is weekly, at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Jesus knows that. He needs you to get back with other people that love him on a consistent basis. Otherwise, we would all fail. And that's the beauty of fellowship and church and community and getting back together on a regular basis and not doing this thing alone. And if you just look at even in the Gospels and Jesus raising the disciples, they spent so much time together, the 12 with him, and then it was pretty dramatic that night, but Jesus gets arrested, but Peter just gets alone, not around any other believers, and he backslides in a hurry as far as swearing and denying Jesus just like that.
Right.
And it's that's any of us. None of us are beyond that. So as much as we want to have our own faith in Jesus, and we do have that, and it needs to be our own, the accountability and the encouragement of everyone else is so valuable as well, which you're experiencing now in your life. So yeah, that's why Jesus set it up in the way of you need each other.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, just what are my intentions with these people? That's what are your intentions with my daughter? What do you want from these people? What do I want from these friends at Kiski? Do I want just to have fun with them and to enjoy myself with them? If just my pleasure and me having friends is your intentions, you're going to become just like them. It's just going to want, because that's what you're looking for. But if my intentions are, I want to reach them, they're lost, I want to love on them, then it's just what are my intentions with these people? I think that's a big mindset thing. And now you made me forget what I was going to say before that. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, being around those people and being singled out and being alone also comes with a lot of. Earlier today in the meeting, we were talking about, what I pointed out, what I got out of that chapter was that one of Satan's tactics is to make you question the Lord's word. And when you question it, and I definitely got in my head when I was at Kiski thinking, I was and you said it on Sunday. You said, do not think of what is not written. You can quote me on that. But you said that, and that's, I don't want to think, like, I don't want to overthink it. Overthinking's the worst, right?
Sure.
And it could be anything. It could be relationships. It could be just even something little like this. You know, I'm overthinking about going on a podcast. I'm super scared, right? But
well, you're doing great, Dane.
Yeah,
thank you so
he is,
much.
huh?
Thank you.
Maybe our best guest yet, honestly, as far as flow.
Guys,
for
stop,
sure.
stop.
Yeah.
But
you were made for podcasting.
Yeah.
I'm a talkative person. I love
Yeah,
I
it's
love
true, you
community.
are, yeah.
I love talking, and that's also going to be a hard part about being one-on-one, you know. Nobody to talk to other than the Lord, so I got to learn to like him, you know. So I'm gonna have to I got to get to know this guy, you know.
For
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
So-
Hey.
But also being alone, like those temptations, and that's Satan getting into your head and thinking about, and that's where doubt came in too. I had so much doubt, like, do I have a relationship with God, or do I think I do? Do I truly, like, believe that if I were to die right now, would I go to heaven or would I go to hell? You know, like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't. Like, right now, I feel like if I were to die, I believe that I would go to heaven. I believe that I am saved, but I still, like, am just, like, on that verge of, like, not fully there yet. Because when I'm alone, I feel like I'm truly alone. And that's why I feel like I'm on the verge, because it's, like, I'm climbing a cliff, and it's just, like, right as I get on that cliff, when I go alone, it's just, like, I'm back down. It just resets me. And that's where I want to get to. And you guys were saying about, like, being around those kids, like, what are my intentions with them? It's like sometimes meeting new people, if they maybe start, like, swearing just a little bit, you're like, okay, like, I want to sound cool too, so I'm gonna throw a swear word in my sentence. So he's like, okay, now he's cool. And my buddy was telling me about this. He's like, some kids think that they have to do that when they're, like, around these people, even if they're not swearing, they want to, like, be that cool kid, so they'll try to do something bad maybe to, like, let that person know, be like, oh yeah, I'm cool too, you know. And that's not what I want. I want to, like, and that's also, like, plays a part in, like, the image, you know. I could care less if people call me a little Christian boy and a virgin or whatever, you know. I could care less, you know, because, I mean, words, whatever you say to me really can't hurt me. If I just can't let it get to my head. That's the thing. And that's also Satan talking, trying to get to your head. And I think that's all those temptations is just Satan trying to throw me back down. He just wants me to go back down that road and stay there. That's the thing, though, because God's pulling me out of that. And I couldn't be more happy. And I know that there's nothing that will bring me back to do any of those sort of things.
Yeah. Yeah, the world naturally hates. This is something that I think about sometimes. The world, even without realizing it, hates Jesus. They just naturally, like, if you're not saved, there's a natural pull to just be whatever against things that are really for God, and just you naturally are against them. And so you go back, they won't even be able to explain why they dislike you or hate you. But if you start being really fanatic about Jesus, they will. On the other side of the coin, at least in my experience, I have seen that there is a point where people, even the unsaved world, starts to respect the Christians who they see are actually genuine. Like, there's a point where, like in my high school experience or seeing this, like, there's these kids who are just, like, always Christian and always pure and never do any of these bad things. It's like, yeah, I don't hang out with that kid. Yeah, I think he's weird a little bit, but I respect him.
No,
because he's true to what he says, and he has convictions, and there's something even the world acknowledges, like, yeah, he's kind of weird, he's a Christian, but there's something that he has that's real. And I think it's cool. It's cool that God gives us that.
And I was also, like, that person. I was just, like, even, like, I'm 50-50, right? I'd, like, look at other Christians, not like I'm gonna talk down on them. It's like, I respect the fact that you are where you are at, and maybe I want to be there, or I don't know if I want to not be there. And growing up in a Christian household, I would be like, yeah, I respect the fact that my family's fully in Christ.
Because nobody likes a hypocrite. Nobody.
No, I mean, I don't want to be that hypocrite either.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him about this the other night too, like, and they can make fun of you and whatever, but when the crap hits the fan, guess who they turn to in a tragedy to pray for them? It's you. When grandma's in the hospital and dying and they know that you pray, they're going to ask you. When mom and dad are getting divorced and they don't know what to do, they come to you. And that's just how it works, which is cool. When I get to do a wedding in a month from now for my old boss's son, growing up in the construction world, And it's just like, who are they going to call? It's going
Right.
to the guy that used to work for them that became a pastor. It's like, and they'd never come to church here, but it's like when they have a need that you can meet,
They know that
they know
can
where to go.
fulfill it.
They know you're there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's
No,
cool.
that's
cool.
great. I want to be able to be like that, though. I want people to come to me, and it's at the point where it's like, really, like, what are you talking about? Like, you're a Christian now. It's like, I'm sure. It's like,
Sure.
well, I know all of that stuff I've done, and I look back on myself, and I've been learning the difference between shame and guilt. We've
Yes.
talked about this a lot, and shame is like, for example, stuff I would do. I would come home and I would try to hide it because I'm ashamed of it, and I wouldn't want to talk about it. I would try to hide it because I am scared
Yeah.
of people like saying, "Oh, you did that," like I'm ashamed of that. Guilt is so different because now I look back on all that stuff I do. I don't try to hide it. I'm open. I'm willing to talk about it because I know that I will never do that stuff again, and I'm willing to compare myself. And guilt, I still feel horrible for the things I've done, and there's no way that I would like be proud of it or forget about it because some of the stuff is just, it's just so bad. Like, I will never forget about it, and I always will feel bad about it, but I'm not ashamed of it anymore. I have guilt from that, and there's a very, very distinct difference of, like, I mean, all these kids will be like, "Oh yeah, really, 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 remember last year about what you said, or remember last year about what you did." It's like, I know I did that, but it's truly different now, and I don't care if you want to believe me or you don't want to believe me, because it's not. Well, I mean, it's not like really about you. It's about God, really. Like, I could care less if you don't believe me or you don't want to believe me or that, but you could say all the things you could say and it couldn't hurt me because my relationship with God is the most important thing. And I'm just so excited. I'm so eager and so encouraged to learn more. And I'm just so, like, interested. Like, this is like for those nerdy kids out there, like, I got my new Pokemon book.
Whoa.
Joking, I'm playing
Why
with
were you looking
man.
at me when you said
no,
that?
I'm just joking with you. But
Hey.
it's like I get the book from the library, and I can't wait to read it, that I would read it in one night. You know? Something like that. Like, I am so excited to go through these chapters one by one and reread them and really acknowledge them. And I'm so excited.
Yeah. You
And
excited to learn all about the Nephilim?
Absolutely.
There you go. That's good stuff.
Well, the interesting thing that you were just saying there, Dane, what were you just saying? Sorry, the Nephilim comment. got me off track. No. That's good. Someone who got radically saved and people doubted a lot at first was Paul. Paul the Apostle. They're like, no way is this guy changed. And thank goodness he had a friend like Barnabas who was there with him in the book of Acts to stand by him and say, no, like I've seen his life and Jesus has transformed him, but it took time.
No, absolutely.
And yeah, like you can't blame people for doubting, right?
And even at, right now, I'm like genuinely scared to go back to Kiski. If you were to ask me if I were to want to go back right now, I would say no, because of that fear of losing that drive and then just being alone, like almost like a scared alone, like depressed, almost like defeated, not in the light. You're in the darkness and where Satan can reach you. And that's what I'm in the deep end. I want to be in the shallow end. Like, that's not where I want to be, especially you know.
Yeah,
but
I can't swim. Yeah,
Because he can't swim. That's funny.
Sorry, not rubbing that in, but you should learn how to swim.
I'm
Joking
drowning.
with you, but
Who am I right now, Dean? I'm drowning.
please.
What, should
My
we just
one
have
character flaw is I never learned how to swim. Sorry.
My
Right,
one.
no worries,
God.
no worries.
His
You'll get
one
there.
weakness.
Yes, the only thing I
Splash some
can't do in
water on
life.
him.
Water above the knees, I'm done.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
He's like the Wicked Witch of the West. Can't handle water.
Another quick story I want to tell.
Okay.
And I think
I have no idea what time it is.
I told this on my my episode maybe when I was sharing my testimony, but on this like learning, let's call it this learning loneliness. Is after I got saved, I'm in high school. It's after school. I'm driving somewhere with a car full of friends, and I'm like super serious about Jesus, and they're saying to me, which one of these friends, who is my best friend, not just at the time, but even now, positionally in my life, he's my best friend. Practically, we don't talk a lot, but positionally, he is.
I just got lost
think I
for a
know
second,
this
but yes.
So anyway, they were like, "Whoa, Hagen, like you're taking this Jesus thing too far or something." I remember this very distinctly, and I like dropped them off after school. These people, and I just like was like doubting, like, "Am I?" and like discouraged. And I stopped by the old church, and Ty was there, but he was like busy in his office. So I just like sat in the old sanctuary, and I sat there for like 30 minutes. It's like all I wanted was to talk to him and essentially him tell me like, "You're doing a good job, Hagen." Like that's all I needed in that moment. But he didn't do that because he was busy, which I'm glad, because I just sat there for a half an hour alone in the sanctuary. And like Jesus taught me in that moment to just like look to him for that validation. And then I just left after that time of just like praying and like taking it before him. But like instinctively, the first thing I wanted to do when I felt discouraged was to go to my pastor and have him build me up, when circumstances forced me that when I felt discouraged to go to my Jesus and have him build me up. And that's huge, because it's so easy to just want to, the easy way is just to
Right.
call me. The
No,
easy way is just to
absolutely.
reach out to Jordan. And
Uh-huh.
we're here whenever.
Right.
But to be able to take that and go to Jesus, who's always available, and get built up from him first, and then you can get from others, like that's huge.
No, that's great that you say that, because like I can't even say anything about that, because that's exactly what I do though. Whenever I am overthinking, or when I get like almost like depressed because I'm like, I'm going back to school. I'm not ready yet, and I just don't want to go. First thing I do, I will text my brother or that friend group or like individual people, anybody that I know that is there to listen to me and that will also help me. And that helps. It helps, but like it's like temporarily help, you know, like it just repeats kind of, you know. So I think that I'm definitely going to take that, and instead of leaning on my friends to help me get to where I want to be, I need to lean on God and trust him. And that's also putting your faith in him and trusting that he will show you the way, and that anything that's going to happen in the future is meant to happen, and that he has a plan for you. And it's not just him doing it. It's definitely 50-50. You have to put your effort into. There's like, I mean, if you pray and pray and pray for addictions or whatever to stop, it's not just him doing all the work. You have to do the work too. You need to be able to say no to those temptations, stay away. He will definitely help, and he will do so much. It's the most powerful thing, but you have to put in the effort too. And it's not just him, it's you too. So that's what I've been realizing too. Is I just can't just like pray and pray and pray without doing anything. I'll just pray at night and forget about that, and just go on the next day, do all those sins that I look back on, and next day it's just a cycle, you know. But like you just really have to put in that effort too. So that's one thing I need to really take to heart and think of more.
Yeah, this is we're recording this on Monday. Friday it'll drop, but this Wednesday, so July 3rd, I'm teaching Psalm 51, and something that you kind of just talked about that I think it'd be cool for you to share a little bit more, that I really like that you've been sharing with me lately, is how you were going through these, how you were like asking Jesus to change your desires, and how it wasn't just a light switch, but like that was a consistent prayer in your life for a while. And like that's so key for people that are struggling with anything. It's like, go to the Lord and ask him to cleanse your heart. That's what David asked in Psalm 51. Lord, create in me a clean heart, O God. Renew a steadfast spirit in me. And so often we're just like looking to ourselves to try to be strong enough or whatever to overcome this sin or this temptation. And it's got to be beyond us, and going to phase one, step one, to just saying, Jesus, help me. Give me different desires. These things I once took pleasure in, take that away. And now you've even talked about how you're disgusted by stuff.
It's the most powerful thing ever, because over and over and over, and I would say like probably ever since the camp, that's when I like kind of just started to like take like consider praying about stuff like that. But then it like started to get more serious, and I would pray and I would pray and I would pray. I'd say, Lord, change my attractions from girls to the Bible, from all these sins to the word, or being around that community, from being being attracted to hanging out with the bad kids to wanting to hang out with the good kids.
Yeah.
And I prayed and prayed and prayed, and he answered that prayer because it's the most powerful thing ever. And I look back on that stuff, and I'm like, there's no way I'll ever do that stuff again. That's not who I am. Do not know me. Like, you shouldn't know me as that kid that'll do that stuff. Know me as the kid that is against that. And and I look back on that, and it just is disgusting. My heart just drops in my stomach, and I was like, that's what I once was. And I don't go to those people, and I'm like, shame on you. Look at yourself. Get back in line, because I was that person.
Yeah.
And I want to help them. I don't want to shame them. I want to help them, because I know how hard it is to get off, like, to get away from those temptations. And I'm just willing to help them, like, and what helped me, and pray for those people too. So, and it's just disgusts me. It's just crazy how he totally flipped my mindset on that. And it's the gnarliest thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm super stoked that it did. So I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah. So this conversation came up in the truck, but let's do it for everyone. So your life must be really boring because you're no longer doing these troubling things, and you're no longer the bad kid, or you're in the cool group. So you just got this boring, lame, safe Christian life, or what's the contrast between old Dane and new Dane as far as like enjoying life?
I can use this as an example. Coming up here, I told multiple people that I like nothing against them, but I won't hang out with them. Coming up, I let them know it's like, I mean, you're probably gonna see me in Salmon. It's a small town, right? You know, it's like the word spread so quickly. That's why I hate small towns. Not dissing on Salmon guys, but I'm just saying, like,
I want you to go on that story, but I want to recognize how hard that can be to call up old friends and draw a line and a boundary. Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
To not just go up and like
Pretend
to just
like
really
nothing happened.
draw the line in the sand and be like, hey, like, I'm different. Like, that's a massive thing to do.
I told this individual person, I said that, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to be up in Salmon, but, and he actually, this is how it started. I left a pair of my shorts at his house, and he was like, hey, if you're coming up to Salmon, maybe you could stop by, spend the night, and then I could get your shorts back, we could hang out. And I was like, hey, man, take it as a gift. You can have my shorts.
Just keep
I'm
them.
sorry. This is your birthday present for next year, so.
And this person's a little chunky, so the shorts didn't even fit. Or
we won't say too much, but so I told him, I said, hey, I'm sorry that I'm not going to hang out with you anymore. At least for now. Okay. Maybe like when I'm better off, defeated those temptations, I could come back and help him. Right.
Sure.
But for now, I told him that I will not hang out with him just because of the things that he's around and what he brings around me. And I told him straight up, and I can, like, word for word, he said, so you're lame now. And I said, I guess so. And I'm totally fine with coming, like, I'm opening to that and just saying, like, it's not about me. It's not my image. It's about God. And that's just so powerful. So,
yeah.
And I was so happy I did that. And it's a hard thing to do, definitely. And the people who you hang out with is who you become. And just taking those people and just kind of, like, not, like, pushing them out of your life, but, like, steering them away from hanging. Like, I don't want to be, like, always, like, having, like, when I come home, I don't want to be, like, hiding my phone so my parents don't go through it. Because, like, if they see that text with that one person, I'm screwed, right? Last year, absolutely, that would have happened. But now, you could have my phone. I don't care.
Yeah.
Mom and dad, it's like I know.
But don't mess up my Clash of Clans account.
Right. No, I wasn't a weird kid that played. I'm joking with you, but
shots fired.
No, but, like, it is difficult to just tell people straight up.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing to do is cold turkey. That's what. Just cut it absolutely where it's at. Just stop. Not just be like, oh, one more time. And I brought this up. I said this on the car right here. It's like McDonald's. It's like you're, like, so hungry. Let's say you go out after your 30-mile race, and I won't place bets yet, but guys, it's coming soon. So
oh wow.
Right, yes.
You get back and you're like, oh, I'm starving. You drive past McDonald's, you're like, I want a Big Mac. I want a extra large fry, and nothing's gonna stop you. You're like, oh, that sounds so good. Right after you're done, finish that, you're like, I feel like crap. But you're like, I will never do that again. I feel like crap. But when that time comes around when you're really hungry again and you drive past McDonald's and you smell that Big Mac, you're like, whoa, and it's just it's a repetitive process. It just happens again and again and again. It's not gonna stop unless you truly, truly want it to stop.
Stop driving by McDonald's.
Just take the long way
convicting
home.
thing you've ever
Take the
said
long
to
way
me,
home.
Dane. It's like, stop
No,
Burger
and-
King. Stop driving by Burger King.
It's
No
hard.
worries.
Huh?
Yeah.
hard.
But it's right there.
The struggle is real, guys.
Yeah.
But it's
So then what's the contrast between old fun, new fun? Like your life's just boring now. What's the difference between that?
everything's different.
Mm.
It's not boring. It's better.
Mm.
You know, and it may not be more fun,
Mm.
but the fun that I have is just so much more real and genuine fun.
Mm.
It's not like I that's a different conversation, but like it's just like the moments that I have with my friends and my family are just so much more real, and I look back on that saying that was a great time. I wish I was there again. When let's say back when it's just that fun that would like happen every night, I'm like, you know, it was fun in the moment,
Sure.
but I look back on it the next day like that was not fun, you know, just like it was not worth the consequences. And like from like maybe your parents finding out and getting grounded, it's not worth that fun. Like when I have fun now, it's like my parents are like, fine, yeah, you could stay out super late, it's fine, because like you're with that good friend group, and they know that I'm not doing the stuff that I would do last year, and that I'm with that good friend group, so that the fun that I have is just so much more genuine and just real, and it's just so much better than all that fake fun, you know. Just like it's fun and all, but it's just not. It's not. And I'm so happy that I made this decision to not like to cut it cold turkey, to stop immediately and just look back on it and just like, and it disgusts me. And that's also prayer too, how God changed my mindset on that. And I think that was all a process, because that took time. Healing takes time, and that's just so real. So I mean, I got time to build up my relationship with God in the span of 2 months, so we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. You got 2
So-
months.
So you get to have fun without regrets now, huh? You could
Absolutely.
sum it up
Yeah.
that way.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Fun without consequences.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
And friendships are always based around something. Friendships are always based around doing something or liking something or some common interest. But the best, the most high quality friendships are the ones that are just like, I love Jesus, you love Jesus. Let's make our friendship based upon that.
right.
Those are the most long lasting, because that's not something that doesn't change. It's like, I like football, you like football. Oh, you don't like football anymore.
Right.
I guess we're not friends anymore.
Right.
It's like a friendship that will actually last
I mean,
for the
like-
rest of your life.
like what we'll do in Boise, we'll go up on the mountain and watch the sunset. We'll have a fire. We'll play worship music. We'll play guitars. We'll have those conversations. Those like deep conversations, but it's not like every single time you hang out with those people that it's just a deep conversation. You can have fun. It's not like now I have to follow all these rules and I can't do any of this fun stuff. You can, but there's like a fine line, you know, of like having fun in like God's eyes, and then also having fun like in like Satan's realm, put it that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like we'll go, and it's just like every time I hang out, I either gain something from it, or it's just, like I always gain something from it, either religious wise, friendship wise, like either a stronger friendship or like a stronger relationship with God from all the advice and the encouragement that I've gotten from those people. Or we'll go out and go have a Bible study, and that's going to start up again. We're going to do that a bunch, especially with my brother. And
Is he going to start up his little group again?
I think that's going to
Okay, he
happen.
better.
And
Well, on the next podcast, hopefully Brock will be on. So hopefully when he's here,
Absolutely.
we'll get him on. You know,
Whoa.
so they'll get to.
I don't
hear
think
about
Brock's going to be as good as you, Dane. I'm
Sheesh.
sorry.
I'm gonna have to-
Brock's great.
we'll see, you know.
We'll talk to Brock about godly dating. He's got his little girlfriend now.
Nothing too crazy, guys.
Yeah. There you go.
But they've been the best to me. Brock and his girlfriend, I'm not gonna say too much, but they're just the best people ever.
Cool.
Same with that whole friend group. It's
Yeah.
just amazing. I can't thank them enough. And you guys, like, I can't thank you guys enough for
Yeah.
what you have done for me.
Well,
It's just-
Dane, we can't thank you enough for coming on the
Well,
Calvary Chapel Salmon
it's my pleasure.
podcast.
I'm so
no,
happy
it's
that
been
I was
it's
allowed
been
to
my
talk.
pleasure. I think I've enjoyed this podcast. It's probably one of my favorites.
But the
just
thing
sitting
is, this
here and
helps me
listening.
out too. Just doing this stuff
Yeah.
is just so real. Like, it just helps me in like because this is like why I want to learn more now. Because like when I'm speaking to other people or speaking on a podcast, I want to be able to have that education and back up what I'm saying, not just like say something that's like sounds like Christian, but then I just don't know how to back it up. You know, I'm just saying stuff I heard, but like I really want to like understand what I'm saying, and also be able to say like I want to be able to like preach, almost like evangelize. I want to be able to get to Hagen's spot one day, not as a pastor, just like
I want his job, and I'll settle for nothing less.
I just want that.
And Jordan, you're gonna work for me.
Right? Yeah, you'll be my little.
You'll be my
bus
assistant,
boy.
Jordan.
So I just
Wait,
want
what did you say?
like it's like a gopher, you know. I'm just saying like you're like my little worker.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
there you
right.
go.
That's what I meant. But I'm just saying I don't want to like not your position. I mean maybe if that's what God.
Hey,
do.
maybe
I'm just
so, you
saying
never
that
know.
I just want your knowledge. You know, I want to be able to like. I mean, I could quote anything in any book in the Bible. You know, that's what I want.
That's right. Hagen can do
So
that.
Ask me about Lamentations right here.
right. So I will get there one day, and I can't wait for that day. And
Yeah.
it'll take time, but I'm
For
stoked
sure.
and I'm ready.
And
to
I can't
so.
wait. In 1 year or 5 years from now, you get to rewatch this podcast.
For
I will
sure.
be
Wow.
so excited.
Yeah.
This would be so cool to see how far you've come even from now.
No,
so.
absolutely.
yeah.
I'm so excited.
And sometimes I think as I look at you and you look at Dane, you assume, man, he's like 16, 17, 18 years old. And it's like, no, you're 15, right?
No, I'm 14.
14. Oh, my gosh, you're
Yeah.
14 years old. So you got, I mean, you've made mistakes, but you got a lot of time to do a lot of good.
Yeah, I think
You're
it just
still
happened a
young
little
and-
bit earlier than everybody else. So
For sure.
But
And
I'm
that's all just
glad that
God's
I
grace,
figured it
but
out
yeah.
before everybody else did.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say that I'm ahead of the game, but not really. It just like threw me off. Now I'm like behind in the game, but I'm ahead of the people that
But compared
are
to someone who
else.
gets saved when they're 27 or whatever, it's like
Yeah.
they the best years of their life are behind them. Now
Yeah.
they just got.
Is that how it works? Anything beyond 27 is not the best years? Is that
Well,
what you
it
believe?
depends on like the most energetic years of their life. We'll say it
Right.
like that. But you got all
Please.
this exciting stuff to look forward
He's
to.
got
I'm
plenty
so
of good years
excited,
ahead
yeah.
of him, yes.
Yes.
No, I
As
think
we all do who are sitting on this panel. Gosh.
I mean,
lots of very exciting years left.
after 27, it's just kind of like
Yeah.
you know
You
whatever.
peak and then it's like.
Yeah, that's your like peak,
Yeah.
but then you just kind of like just hold it.
Well, it's not
steady
peak.
from there.
If you're married, it gets better and better. But if you're not married,
If you're married and
Now
know how
he's
to
just- now
swim,
he's
it
just
gets
like-
better? Is that
Yeah,
what
right,
you're
you
going to
need
say?
if you
be able
don't
to
know how to
swim,
swim, then life just
be
really gets
married
hard.
and-
Gosh,
Right.
that's brutal.
Well,
I'm glad I'm very secure in my relationship with Jesus, so I can handle you guys
That's
dealing
good.
harshly
Yes.
with me.
Yeah, that's my
absolutely.
That's such an important thing that you keep saying. Like it's not caring what people think about you.
I think you should care just a little. bit.
Just a little bit,
But-
but like most, like that's
Just enough
such
to
an.
like not wear stupid socks, right?
Yeah. And shoes.
But that hey.
These are my brand new shoes, he says. I
You don't
thought
like my
these were
thermal
cool.
shoes?
It's sorry, I'm not dissing, but it's better than flip flops.
At least they're not Crocs. I hate Crocs.
And I've
Absolutely.
worn Crocs.
Have
a
enough
couple times.
self-respect
I'm
to not
sorry,
wear
that's
Crocs.
okay.
Either wear
So,
sandals
yeah,
or
so
shoes.
so
Pick one.
Care enough about people to not wear Crocs, but then it's just like it's almost like a superpower in my mind that some people just get to a point where like they just like you said.
Do
like,
you
I
have
don't-
this power, Jordan?
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I care too much. But
No.
like you said, like I don't care that you think I'm lame.
No, and
What's
it's
one of my
it's not
faults?
like
I
that.
care too
I'm
much.
truly just like I totally don't
volunteer
care
too
now.
much.
That's
there
very,
is
very valid.
moments that I still do care, and it's not like temptations are still a problem with me.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's so many temptations that my mindset's different though. God definitely changed my mindset when I come around those that I'm so much stronger than I was. It's definitely tempting to do that stuff, but I just know in the back of my mind that I will never do it again, and I made a promise with God that I would never do it. And that so I mean it's not like I'm perfect, it's not like I'm fully saved or anything, and I'm not. So I'm still a work in progress. I'm still like on that verge, but I'm just open and willing to learn more. So, and I'm just so eager, like anybody with advice, I'm just like, I will listen. I don't care who you are, I will listen. If you have any advice for me, like tell me. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to listen. So
That's baller.
it's
Well,
baller. I
this
like
has
that.
been great.
That's neat.
Yeah.
It has been
It's
great,
neat.
yes. Yeah. Well, Dane, I'm glad you were able
Well,
to
thank
join
you
us
so
today.
much, though.
I'm thankful for our friendship over probably the past 2 years, and especially
Yeah.
over the past year. It's been a good one. And even now, just in the past month, like I've never been more prouder of you.
Thank
I
you so
just
much.
want you to know that.
Yeah, that's
and I know that I can't even imagine how Jesus is going to use you, and I'm glad that we get to be a small part of that.
I can't wait.
And it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait for opportunities to be able to serve him together.
Right.
And if we had a church full of people that were in a season that you're in right now, we'd be unstoppable.
For sure.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this on Friday or Saturday and you don't know what you're doing, this Sunday, July 7th, come out to Church in the Park out at City Park, 10 a.m.
Right.
There will be bacon wrapped hot dogs and
Ooh.
burgers, and Hagen will
As well
share
as
something.
worship.
As well as worship.
Message,
Message.
baptisms.
Baptism, yes.
Yeah, Dane will be around. You can see him
You
there.
can come and meet Dane
Yeah.
in the
Have a
flesh.
I mean, if you really want my like signature,
Yeah.
you know.
Dane from the famous Calvary Chapel Salmon
So
podcast
sweet.
episode 19 or whatever. Or
That's right. I think it's 20.
Josh, number is this?
As he's fact checking that parade. Actually, that's half.
5th?
Parade's on the. This maybe will drop by the time.
Well, this is gonna be on Friday.
Okay.
We're gonna do a youth float on Saturday. Well,
Just
maybe
do
I don't want to
announcements
say
real
that for
quick.
everyone.
Announcements, yeah. Well,
Yeah. What-
just one more time though.
This will be 19. Yeah, I was right. 19.
Oh, okay.
You have one more
Just
thing
one
to
more
say?
time. I just want to thank you guys so much. Like Jordan, you've played a huge part in my life, and as well as you, Hagen. And I
Hey.
can't thank you guys more. And I'm so excited to continue our friendship together. So
Yeah.
Well,
thank
amen.
you so much, guys.
The more I get to know you, Dane, the more I like you.
Well,
When
thank
I
you.
first met you, I was like, I don't know.
I
about
wish I
this
could
guy.
say the same.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Well, okay. Well,
I
that's a
started
great
this.
place to
I
end.
started this podcast with Dane in my top 5. I'm going to move him, or my top 10. I'm going to move him to my top 5.
Whoa.
Thank you so much,
And,
man.
That's a
um,
big deal.
That's a accomplishment.
Sammy didn't get moved.
Samuel did not get moved. No. So
Dang.
I'm glad you got to pay close attention to what I say and what I don't say, and you'll very easily be able to figure this list out. So yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
sounds good. Well, top 5.
Sounds like a plan. We'll figure it
Well,
out.
thank you guys so
Well,
much.
yeah. Thank you so much. Dane, you should just run this podcast. You do
I should.
great.
I would
He'll just
love
land the
to.
plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be a great podcast for young people to listen to, I think.
Yeah, great.
Like we
And-
said, Dane's 14, so you got a teenager that's following Jesus or even struggling with following Jesus. I believe Jesus is going to use this one particularly in a
Yeah.
big way to be able to just relate. And
So
yeah.
share this video with all your friends. Share the link with people. Share with your grandkids
Yeah,
if you're
Mhm.
watching. And yeah, have a fantastic day. Love you. Bye.
bye.
Bye.